You're listening to the Blizzard Community Podcast, produced by geeks, for geeks. Welcome to Geeks of Azeroth.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 190 of Geeks of Azeroth. My name's Tarley, and with me, as always, I've got myself, Tarley. Yes, it's a solo show. It's December 31st. That's the time of recording this. Probably might get it uploaded tonight, but probably be 2019 by the time the listeners get to hear this. It's just me, of course, this week, like holidays and stuff. But I wanted to do an episode. We didn't do one last week. I just wanted to make sure, you had your Geeks of Azeroth in. I know you're missing us. So I just want to do something special, since it's just me tonight. I've got my glass of whiskey and a beer. I mean, it is New Year's Eve. I'm going to be celebrating properly. Delicious. And I apologize if there's any background noise. My neighbors are loud as hell normally, and it's a holiday night where they're going to be drinking. So if you hear lots of screaming or shouting or whatever, just nothing. No one's getting murdered in the background. So yeah, let's get the party started. So I guess typically what I've been playing, still just playing Overwatch mainly. I was in gold, and then I went back down to silver, unfortunately, right before the season ended. Oh well, maybe next season. Other than that, though, not really playing a whole lot. Hey, what up, dude? Nekumo in chat. I've never say your name correctly, but thank you for joining. Let's see. Blizzard news again. Like the holiday week, everybody at Blizzard was gone, so not really a whole lot to talk about in that regard. But of course, there's the fireworks celebration happening right now in WoW. If you want to hop on, another bit like today, there was a Wrathgate cinematic remastered. Like somebody went through and redid the whole Wrathgate cinematic. Which, if you look back on that one now compared to modern day cinematics, it looks pretty terrible. But it was like the first time they had ever done something like that in game, so it was pretty epic. And Ivan Kuzkin is his name. He makes WoW Machinima. He redid the Wrathgate cinematic. Look it up. It's been on the front page of the WoW subreddit today. It's really well done. Let's see, other Blizzard news that came out this week. We had the Imperius hero reveal for Heroes of the Storm. So the game's not quite dead yet. They're just going to keep adding to it, which is good. Great. It's great news that they've announced a hero, especially in the current climate that is Heroes of the Storm. Let's see. But yeah, like I said, just kind of a slow news week. Yeah. So. Really what I wanted to do for this episode, I was hoping at least Icarus would join me, but again, things got in the way. It's okay. I want to just talk about 2018 gaming in general. As we've mentioned before, we're kind of moving away from Blizzard as a whole, and this episode will definitely not shy away from that. I'm going to just talk about the games that I played, games that I liked throughout 2018, and kind of in order. And know that I slept on a lot of games this year. There's been a lot of good games that came out that I didn't play, but we're going to cover the ones that I did. And I honestly can't remember. Hold on. Actually, I have the internet. I'm doing this live, but it's okay. I couldn't remember which one of these came out first. Hold on. We got this. We're good, fam. Okay. Okay, so the first game of 2018 that I played that was super awesome was Shadow of the Colossus remastered. So this game was really special to me because Shadow of the Colossus was probably my favorite game of the PlayStation 2 era. I loved it so much. It was such a beautiful game at the time, for its time. But moving forward, I mean, it definitely didn't age well. Especially trying to play it on like modern TVs and stuff. It just didn't look very good. But the gameplay was always super solid. But except for the controls, like again now in like the modern climate, like the controls just felt back-assward compared to modern games. So when this remaster came out on PS4, it was so hype, and it definitely lived up to the expectation to play that game again. I mean, it absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they just completely rebuilt the game. It wasn't just like up-res textures. They redid the whole game, and it's amazing. It's beautiful, and it's as good as it was when it came out in 2006. So definitely check that out if you have a PlayStation 4. If you never played Shadow of the Colossus before, then dude, just check it out. It's such a good game. I really loved it. Just super good. Don't sleep on that one. Definitely play it. But then next up came Far Cry 5, which I was originally super hyped for Far Cry 5 because I've always liked Far Cry. I didn't play Primal, but I played every Far Cry before that. Like Far Cry 3 was so good. And then Far Cry 5 takes place in Montana, which is where I live. So of course I was super, super excited, like, because nothing happens in Montana, right? Like nobody ever talks about Montana. So a big Ubisoft game taking place in my home state. Of course I was super hyped about it. So, I started playing it. The intro was super good. It was really intense, like felt like a good Far Cry story. And one thing that they captured, like, Montana really well, like, especially the people, oddly, like, aside from the religious cultists, and we do have those here too, but, like, it just kind of felt really Montana. Like, they did their research, it looked like Montana, it felt like Montana. So they did a good job as far as that goes, but other than that, the gameplay systems, in my opinion, just got super repetitive. Like, so if you played it or if you didn't, there's like 3 different zones of the map, and you have like these 3 bosses, basically these 3 bosses at the end of each zone that you have to like defeat before you get to the main bad guy. And after you beat after I beat one zone, it felt so repetitive. It's just the same gameplay systems over and over again. So and the story was kind of lacking. Like, there were some funny quests and stuff, but it was kind of overall like boring, kind of repetitive, just go here, do that, like gameplay over and over again, aside from like the every once in a while, like, cut off a cow's balls for the testy festy mission. That was pretty hilarious. But so I never ended up finishing Far Cry 5, but I'm gonna revisit it now that there's a new one coming out. That's all I have to say about that one, though. I wasn't a huge fan of it, though. It held up as far as a Far Cry game goes, I guess. What came after that? Detroit Become Human. Now, this is one like a lot of people didn't actually play. But man, like, this one was one of my favorite, one of the gems from 2018, in my opinion. Detroit Become Human was so good. And it's from the makers of Heavy Rain. So if you didn't play Heavy Rain on the PS3, well, you weren't missing much. Like, it was a good story, but the gameplay was so messed up. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the Sean meme. Sean. Good stuff. But now Detroit Become Human was so good. Like, for just graphically, like the facial animations and just the whole animations in general were done so well. Like, obviously full motion captured game. If you're not a fan of like storytelling games in general, you wouldn't like it, but I am. Like, Life is Strange is like my favorite game ever made, or one of them. So of course, like, I wanted to play this game. I like the style of game, and it definitely lived up. Like, I couldn't believe some of the decisions I made and what how it affected the ending. Like, things I completely forgot I did totally changed the ending of the game. So it was super good. Again, I kind of played a lot of PS4 exclusives this year, but if you have a PS4, check it out. It's super, super fun. It's kind of short, though. Like, maybe catch it on sale. Like, I almost wouldn't necessarily say it's worth $60 because you can beat the game in about like 6 hours. There's definitely replayability because there's so many different branching options that happen. And you can see those options too, because like every time you finish like a chapter, like it then shows you this spider web of the decisions you made and then the decisions you could have made. And so like every chapter you're like, wow, I could have gone like this complete other direction. So I haven't replayed it yet, so I don't know if you see it on sale, I would say definitely check it out. But then there was God of War that came out. God of War was super good to a lot of people, but not to me. I think I'm one of the rare people that didn't actually like God of War. I think it was just mainly the gameplay or the combat mechanics. Mainly, like it felt very Dark Soulsy. It was pretty punishing, which I'm just not a fan of those type of gameplay systems in general, or that type of combat. I really wanted to get into it, and maybe I will go back and try to play it again on like easy or something. But because I've never really played God of War because I wasn't interested in the story like ever. I just didn't care. He was like a character that didn't have any character really. It was just all about the combat and killing bosses and stuff, and just not really my type of game. But this one definitely was kind of feeding off of like, you know, Sony's kind of energy that they've had for a while now with the PS4. So it kind of felt like when I was playing, at least through the first couple hours of the game, like very kind of Last of Us feel because of Atreus. And so I was really captivated by that, just by the dialogue and the character development between Atreus and Kratos. Man, I forgot his name. So I can see why it's winning Game of the Year. Definitely not my Game of the Year though, just mainly because of the combat. But I may have to revisit it just to finish the storyline because it was interesting. Sorry if this is like a super boring episode. I just really wanted to talk, do a show, drink some beer. What did I play after that? So BFA was the next one. I can't think of anything else that would have come out during the summer that I played. There was Warhammer Vermintide. I don't remember when that came out. Vermintide was pretty cool. It was I had never played the first one, so this was Vermintide 2, and so if you haven't played Warhammer Vermintide, this is like an exact description of what it is. It's Left 4 Dead, but instead of zombies, you're killing rat people, and you have bows and arrows and swords and magic and stuff. Super cool. Thanks. Yeah, I do. I like talking about other games for sure. So yeah, if you didn't check out, if you've never played Vermintide, definitely check it out because you gotta have friends kind of to enjoy it. It's actually really hard if you try to solo queue, or solo with bots. You can queue with other people, or you can play with friends. But it's Left 4 Dead in a fantasy setting. That's exactly what it is. I mean, even to the point where there's like all the same like bosses or like harder enemies. Like there's an equivalent to a smoker and a boomer and a hunter and all of that. So it's super good. The graphics look great. The gameplay was super solid. Check out Warhammer. Really good. So BFA was the big game of August. And you know, like, we did like the first episode of Geeks of Azeroth after BFA came out was our BFA review, and if you listen to that, we loved it. You know, we were super hype on BFA, which is always kind of like, it follows the same timeline to me that like Warlords of Draenor did, because I loved Warlords. You know, you go back and listen to our episode then after Warlords came out. Yeah, we've been doing this show a long time. If you listen to our episode after that came out, we were super hyped. We thought it was the best expansion ever, super good. And I felt the same way about BFA for the first couple of weeks. But as you know, again, I'm not going to spend too much time talking on this, but BFA just kind of definitely lost my interest, especially with just the kind of overall gameplay systems, the Azerite armor. You know, it just basically the feeling of you were leveling down as you leveled up. You got far weaker. You lost a lot of stuff, lost a lot of cool things. So BFA just kind of #felt bad, man. I still have hope for it, man. Like, I really do. I'm not going to totally give up on World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft for too long. I know people are leaving left and right, but I'll still give it a chance. I'll always give World of Warcraft a chance anyway. So moving on, I'm not going to announce something at the end. I'm just going to say it right now. This was my game of the year when it came out, and that was Spider-Man for PS4. Still consider it my game of the year. Super, super good. I've always loved Spider-Man since I was a kid. I've played almost every Spider-Man game that came out, that has come out in existence, and a lot of them have sucked. Like, none of them have ever reached the level of awesome that was Spider-Man 2 that I played on the GameCube, that came out like GameCube, PS2, Xbox. Spider-Man 2 from the movie. So this game, oh man, story-wise, it didn't do anything like huge, like especially the fact that like there wasn't like this huge amount of different characters or villains until the very end. That's probably like the main flaw I had with it. Like, you're kind of fighting the same villain for like this large middle chunk of the game. Like, you've got this intro that has some different stuff going on, then this whole middle of like the same dude, and then right at the end where you finally get like this whole like almost a Sinister Six type deal. But it's still otherwise though. Just the combat, the web swinging, the graphics, and the cutscenes especially too. Like, the story wasn't like God of War level or Last of Us level amazing storytelling, but it was just a really good Spider-Man story. And the cutscenes, the animation was actually like, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Like, it was super good. Like, the facial animations and the voice actors were just done perfectly. They casted the game really well. It's just such a good. It's probably the best Spider-Man game. Like, I would put it above Spider-Man 2 from back when I was a kid. Like, super good. Super fun. There's been DLC. All the DLC is great. They added in New Game Plus, so you can keep playing the game. So super good. And the game, like, legitimately too, like, if you play on New Game Plus and you up the difficulty, like, it's one of those games. One thing I like about games that do this is, like, the bosses and the enemies don't just become more bullet spongy, as a term, like, or don't just get more health and do more damage as you up the difficulty, but they actually change their behaviors a bit. They get smarter, they do different things. So it has replayability just in that alone, which is super cool. There's a ton of different Spidey suits to collect. Like, there's one that literally makes you look like you're 2D cartoon animated. Super cool. It really sucks. Like, I don't necessarily understand why this game had to be a PS4 exclusive, because, I mean, it's Spider-Man, right? It's not like it's some Sony IP. It's not, it's not like The Last of Us. It's not like Halo on Xbox. It's Spider-Man. So just for that alone, it does kind of suck that it's a PS4 exclusive. But I'm super happy I have a PS4 and got to play it. And if you have one and you haven't played Spider-Man, you're missing out on one of the best games of 2018 for sure. Unless you just really don't like superheroes. Let's see. Then we got Red Dead Redemption 2. This was like the year's like big hit. I love Rockstar. I think they make amazing games. But back in 2010, when the first Red Dead Redemption came out, I didn't like it. I didn't really play it much because I'm not a fan of the aesthetic or the timeline. I'm not a fan of Westerns. Like, I've never liked Western movies. Don't like Western games. Except I'll play McCree in Overwatch. That's probably the extent of that. But, so I don't know why, but I hopped in on the hype. I was like super excited, especially because Grand Theft Auto 5, right? Like, that's one of my favorite games, at least as far as story, like the single player campaign goes. I loved Grand Theft Auto 5, so I'm like, all right, Red Dead's gonna be just as good. But it turns out I'm not as much, still not a fan of Westerns. So, but I can't say bad things about it though. I really can't. It's such a good game. I mean, everything about it is so realistic, except for some of the horse physics are kind of, you've seen compilations of horses being stupid in that game, right? But it's a Rockstar game, right? So there's just so much attention to detail, like just little details about every single thing. And it's a game I keep coming back to. Like, it's a game that I haven't put a lot of time into. I'm still in chapter 3, but I keep coming back and I keep playing. I just keep playing it because even though I'm like not a huge fan of the story or the setting of the characters, it's still such a good game. So it's like this, I just keep trying to go through it piece by piece. So yeah. And then the last game that I played that came out this year was Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. That was a weird one. I really, like, I played it the night it came out because I was super excited because I love Pokemon. And I played it for maybe an hour and I just like put it down and then I didn't go back to it. Like, it was weird. Because it was super easy. Like, everything was being, like, I'm just catching Pokemon without any challenge at all to catching them. I was fighting trainers with no challenge at all. My Pikachu was destroying everything they had, even if I was fighting like a rock-type Pokemon. My Pikachu's still winning. The whole catching Pokemon system being like from Pokemon Go is just weird. Doesn't feel right necessarily, but so I put it down and then I just wanted, like, after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after it came out, I just wanted to play it again. I just wanted to keep playing it. So I picked it up and I just kind of looked at it from okay, I'm not going to be challenged by this game. I'm just going to play it and enjoy it for the sake of something relaxing to do. And then I started loving it. And it does bring in that full nostalgia factor because it literally is Pokemon Yellow, basically. So, if you think Pokemon games have evolved and changed and gotten more difficult and had challenge added to them, as the years have gone on. So to go back to Pokemon Yellow is interesting, but the nostalgia factor, and it made it super good. And it's just a relaxing game. It's fun. So overall, very happy with Let's Go Pikachu. Again, very casual. I really hope that we do get kind of a new Pokemon game next year. They've talked about it, that it's coming. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if my listeners are Pokemon fans or not, but my idea of a 2019 of a new Pokemon game, like a fully fleshed out open world Pokemon game like they've talked about, I want it to get like kind of the Breath of the Wild treatment, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see, like, just, take this game that, it's kind of not open world. It's kind of like I can't talk. Alcohol does this to me. But small little zones, right? Like, no, I want a full open world, beautiful world. You can go wherever you want. Just fully flesh it out as a Pokemon RPG. Then with the turn-based combat. Yeah, that's what I want out of a new Pokemon title. I mean, this one's cool, but yeah, let's drop the top-down view that we've had. Even though it looks better now on Switch than it ever has, let's just fully, like, flesh it out, make it a JRPG Pokemon style. Let's do it. It'll be awesome. What else? Like, man, there's a lot of noise in my building tonight. I don't know what we want from 2019. I don't know, listeners, what you guys want. Let me know on Twitter or in chat if you're here, what you're most looking forward to for games in 2019. I'm probably going to play Far Cry 5 or whatever, the New Dawn, I guess. It's cheaper anyway, so check it out. Maybe if Fallout 76 goes free to play and they update it and make it actually good, I might check it out, but it's been such a disaster that I probably won't. I'm definitely interested in World of Warcraft in 2019. Resident Evil 2 Remake, yes, absolutely, dude. I've heard so many people talking about that. It looks so good. Like, they talk about it on IGN all the time, on GameScoop, and I'm super excited about it. They make it seem like it's better than, like, any Resident Evil game that's come out since Resident Evil 2. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to, Kingdom Hearts 3, finally. That's coming out in January? February? That one's actually coming really soon. But I don't know if you know in chat, but I've played 1 and 2, but there's like how many other games, and I've never played any of the other ones except for 1 and 2. Is there like some kind of compilation or some YouTube video that kind of ties up the story, or any of those side, like Kingdom Hearts 2.13-11 worth playing? Am I missing out on a major story? I don't know. I hope not, because I just played 1 and 2, but I still want to play 3 because Kingdom Hearts amazing. Another game that's coming out early in 2019 is going to be Anthem. That one, as I mentioned on the episode a couple weeks ago when I got into the alpha, what I noticed about Anthem was it felt very. It didn't feel like a BioWare game in a weird way, like, because I'm super worried about it, like, not having story, because that's what I want in a BioWare game, is like a story and RPG and character development. But I don't think we're gonna get that out of Anthem. But the good thing about Anthem is it feels super good to play. Like, it's like, at least there's that. The suits feel good, the flying around, the jumping, the shooting. Yeah, it felt super, super solid, like keyboard and mouse. Like, I thought it was going to feel like a bad port, like, must play with the controller or else won't feel good. No, don't have to worry about that. So I'm still waiting on reviews on that one, though. That's still not one I'm going to like insta-buy or pre-order. No pre-ordering in 2019, guys. No pre-ordering. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. I'm going to watch reviews. Definitely interested to see what happens with Anthem. At Blizzard, we've got Warcraft 3 Remastered coming out. Like, as we've said, how frustrating of a year 2018 has been for Blizzard, and especially as a Blizzard fan, like, how can you not look forward to Warcraft 3 Remastered? I mean, it's almost more of like trying to stand on principle and not want to give Blizzard money when they're making stupid decisions, but what's Warcraft 3 Remastered? So I'm probably going to buy it. Just because I love Warcraft 3. That's my childhood right there. So to get a remastered version of that will be awesome. Thought there was another Blizzard title coming out this year. No. I'm definitely going to be interested in what happens. Like, I'm expecting big changes actually for Overwatch this year. Like, I really think Overwatch could change a lot, like, or it should. I hope it does. Like, I want to see some real gameplay shifts and system shifts, balance shifts, hero shifts. Like, I mean, Overwatch will hit 3 years old, right, in May. So you'd think they've got to add a new game mode or something. Also hella hyped for Warcraft 3 Remastered. Definitely one of my most played childhood games. Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's why you can't, even if I'm mad as hell at Blizzard, I just can't sleep on that one because that's my childhood getting remastered. I gotta play it. But yeah, I want to see Overwatch get, I don't know, Overwatch is getting stale, and Overwatch is still my favorite game to play right now. But when you play it for every day, we gotta get something new. Obviously, so there'll be new heroes in Heroes, new heroes in Overwatch. I just really hope we get some kind of role queue, maybe change ranked mode. I'm not sure how. It just makes it up a little bit. Maybe one thing I'd like to see them add too is like getting more weapon customizations, because I mean, like, there's a lot of people who already have all the gold guns, and I've got all the gold guns for the characters I care about. So now I'm just kind of collecting them, as I've unlocked another one. Who am I going to pick this time? So I'd like to see more weapon customization come to Overwatch. I mean, like, you go into the weapon selection where you can customize it and you can pick the standard or the gold. There's this big empty list like that they could fill in. Like, I mean, Fortnite has weapon wraps. Like, come on, Blizzard, it's time to catch up. I'm definitely interested in what World of Warcraft does going forward, because we're going to get both 8.2 and 8.3 in 2019. We know what to expect out of 8.2, but 8.3 still a shot in the dark. I'm guessing Nyalotha or something to do with N'Zoth. I think it'd be very odd to not go that direction, because they've been hinting at it so heavily, but they could do a 180 and just make it again the conclude. I guess, yeah, another option they could do is just conclude the faction war once and for all and never do this theme as an expansion again. Because everybody's now expecting them, I guess, to kind of unify and do a big hidden boss being N'Zoth, just like they did with Pandaria, where it was, you know, it started off as the faction war and then they did a 180 and it became something else. So I could definitely see them doing it where just to throw us off and they actually refocus on the final raid is this big battle that's kind of like the battle for Dazar'alor, where Horde and Alliance have different boss fights. So that'd be cool. But either way, yeah, like I said from the beginning, like, as frustrating as it is to be a fan of World of Warcraft right now, we can just only hope it gets better, right? We don't hope for World of Warcraft to get worse unless you're just extremely narcissistic. I need more whiskey. Warcraft Classic too, that's coming out. Like, I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten that Classic servers are coming online this summer. Like, it's legitimately a thing. It is going to happen. We're getting Classic this year. Absolutely going to play Classic. For how long? I don't know. It's interesting for me because I know a lot of people who played. There's like a lot of sides of the spectrum here for like people who never played Classic and like not interested. Then there's people who played Classic or played, you know, during vanilla and they're not interested because they're like, no, the game is better now. And then there's the people who played it and they're like, yes, absolutely, it was a much better state of the game. And for me, my perspective is I didn't play Classic at all, but I'm interested for sure. I'm a Wrath baby, so, and like back half of Wrath baby, so I'm very much used to modern systems because, you know, back half of Wrath is when like raiding became basically how it is now, and Dungeon Finder was already a thing, achievements were a thing when I got into the game, so I'm used to a lot of the modern systems, so I'm very much interested in trying it out and just seeing this totally different World of Warcraft. There's aspects of it that, like, I wish there were the current character models. I know that's a controversial thought, but like, I'm not interested in like, I don't have any kind of nostalgia value because I didn't play it, so I'm in it more for the gameplay systems. But I'd still rather have like some of the nice things, like the graphically nice things about modern World of Warcraft. Again, that's just my opinion, but yeah, Nikuma's going to play too. Awesome. Yeah, hopefully it'll be good. What else is coming in 2019? That's kind of all I've got my radar on. I mean, maybe we'll hear. Actually, no, it's not even a maybe. We will know about the new Diablo game. Diablo 4 or whatever they're going to call it. And I would also expect Diablo 2 or Diablo 1 remastered. But we will most likely find out about the new Diablo game, most likely at BlizzCon next year. They could announce it sooner than that. Who knows? And, you know, for all the shit I've talked, I hope Diablo Immortal comes out next year because I can't keep talking shit until I've played it, right? And as much as we hate the idea of Blizzard focusing on mobile titles, look at Hearthstone, dude. Hearthstone is such a good game. And everybody who actually played Diablo Immortal at BlizzCon said it was a good game. So I can say I'm kind of looking forward to trying Diablo Immortal on my phone. Like, it could be a good game. Now, I'm not the type of phone gamer that's going to sit and play a game on my phone for long periods of time, but I do have those like games you play with one hand that you're just like playing passively if you're in a car or you're waiting for something. Like, I do play games like that. So if Diablo Immortal can be like a hop in and out experience, I'd definitely check it out for sure. We'll get the next expansion announced next year for sure, for a while as well. Check out Bellular's video if you guys haven't, because he speculates on the next expansion. We're already talking about that. Current theories being either like Ny'alotha itself, because there's the idea that Ny'alotha isn't a physical place on Azeroth, but it's a different plane of existence, and they could really like go that route for an entire expansion, or Void Lords and Void Lord infested planets, and we could just go full cosmic expansion. Or I like this theory that in 8.2 we don't actually kill Azshara. Azshara retreats to the back half of Azeroth, and we finally get to see what's over there. That'd be cool. But we'll get that announced at BlizzCon next year. Other games, I want The Last of Us 2, but Naughty Dog tweeted out before Christmas that they were wrapping up they were still working on some motion capture shots. So if they're still filming motion capture a week ago, that game's not coming out next year. Not at all. And Cyberpunk 2077, I want to know more about that game, but again, that's got to be a next gen title, right? Like, there's no way. But speaking of next gen, I don't know if 2019 we're not getting the new consoles this year for sure, but we might find out about them. We got like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and they're two consoles, one of them being a streaming only console that doesn't actually have like a GPU in it or anything like that, which would make the console itself super affordable. Very interesting. I think there's a decent chance that they'll get announced this year, especially because Sony's not going to be at E3, which is huge. Like, Sony not being at E3, like they're always at E3 and they always have really awesome announcements. So that either means that they don't have anything at all to announce this year, or they want their own event separate from E3 where thgoing to announce a bunch of stuff like a new console. So that could happen this year. Otherwise, like, I don't know. I mean, there's not going to be some, as far as we know, there's not any huge titles coming in the fall that I know of. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, we've got some big hits coming in the spring. Hopefully sometime before summer, Life is Strange 2 finishes up. Like, I'm just waiting for the entirety of the game to be available. Like I said towards the beginning of the show, Life is Strange is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm interested in playing the second one, but I don't like the idea of it being episodic and having to wait months between episodes. So I'm just waiting for the whole thing. Hopefully that comes out. And that's about it. I don't know what the fall titles have, except for, your typical Call of Duties, and I'm sure we'll get Star Wars Battlefront 3. That's probably coming out. Oh yeah, there's a new Star Wars game in development by Respawn Entertainment too, the guys who made Titanfall. And it's actually rumored that Titanfall 3 and their Star Wars game are coming out this year. So we have no idea what that Star Wars game is, except for the title that I don't remember right now. We know that EA they just completely scrapped a Star Wars game that was in development because it was single player only. So it's going to be a multiplayer Star Wars game. But other than that, we have no idea what it's going to be. So definitely interested, because Respawn, I mean, they've only done Titanfall as far as I know, but Titanfall 1 and 2 are both really good games. So we'll see. I guess it's all speculation too, but we could potentially see Starfield this fall. We have no idea how far that is. That's Bethesda's newest RPG, the one that's coming out before Elder Scrolls 6. So basically Skyrim in space. Obviously Bethesda's in a weird place right now because of the disaster that was Fallout 76. So I don't know if we'd see, like, who knows, like, Starfield's been in development for a long time. Like, they patented it back in like 2012, I think. So, it's been in development for a long time. Like, it's been in development since before Fallout 4 came out. So yeah, so who knows, but we could see Starfield this year, but I think that is going to be like a 2020 next gen console launch title, along with like Cyberpunk 2077, stuff like that. And that is for sure going to do it, guys. Since it is just me, I'm not going to do 20 questions with myself. That'd be weird. as far as the podcast goes, like I said, like we've talked about, we are going to shift. We've even talked about changing our name from being Geeks of Azeroth, just because, again, like we're just, as hosts, we're not currently interested in World of Warcraft, but probably not. But you will see a shift from being a mainly Blizzard podcast. But we're going to be a part of the Blizzard community as long as there is a Blizzard community, because that's why we do this show. We're quickly approaching episode 200, and this year will be our 5-year anniversary of doing the show. Super crazy. Just hopefully continue to grow. Hopefully you guys continue to listen to us. Thank you guys from Spotify. Like, that was a huge audience once we were on Spotify, so thank you guys if you just joined us from Spotify. Thanks for listening. And here's to an awesome 2019. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.